Thanks for tuning in to the Loser Kid Pinball Podcast. We're on episode 123. I am Josh Roop. With me, my co-host / captain, as always,
Scott Larson.
And Scott, it's kind of slow on the pinball net news, but I think we've got something big tonight.
Well, we do, but before that, if you want to get a great deal on a pinball machine, go ahead and check out Zach and Nicole Mini at Flipping Out Pinball. They have a lot of screaming deals right now. I mean, pinball price, it is a buyer's market. So if you are looking for something, even new in box, there are some deals out there that you have not seen before, especially if you have a grail pin that you're really looking forward to and haven't been able to find it. Go ahead and contact Zach, and he can usually work some magic there. So Flipping Out Pinball.
Zach and Nicole are definitely the best. Speaking of the best, we've got some amazing guests on tonight, starting with Imoto Harney. She's done Skill Shot Baby. She does a lot of Tech Live stuff. And honestly, she's just kind of all over the place whenever you're looking at like conferences and expos. She's the person to go to in the Marco booth. We got Lucas Pepke. If you don't know him by name, you know him by voice. I promise you do. Between Moppy and Steve and Macho and all those names, he revealed himself like 6 months ago on Special One Lit. It was an awesome episode. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And finally, the grandmaster of all of this, Will Oetting, and he's here to talk to us about the exciting news with This Week in Pinball. How are you doing tonight?
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Great.
Fantastic. Still living in Houston Arcade Expo land.
How
the
much
party
longer
never
is going on?
stops. The actual show's over, but I'm just still relishing and basking in the energy that they left at this hotel.
As if you're on YouTube with us, as the party, you can see behind Imoto in her room. It is nonstop party.
She has a fog machine somewhere too.
Yeah.
It's charging.
So Will, you've asked to come on and discuss some news that you've got going on. What's happening, my dude?
Well, yeah, one of the big things that came out today, that would be Monday, is that TWIP is now rolled under Kineticist. So Colin Alzheimer is kind of taking the lead. He will be doing the content and helping us out, and I'm still there helping him as an advocate and advisor for whatever he needs. So
now this is a pretty big move, considering that TWIPY stands for This Week in Pinball. So what prompted the merger?
So a lot of it is that, so I asked Colin to come on and help do content for This Week in Pinball probably mid 2023. So he's been doing the weekly posts. I mean, it's really his content out there every week. So, after him coming on and doing that content, I kind of saw his passion for it. It's something that he, was able to really jump into and just give more time to than I can. So it's really been helping out This Week in Pinball. So I felt like it was a good merger. Kineticist has been doing some great stuff over there, and if we can team up and pool our resources, I think we might have a little bit bigger shot at stuff. So
that's awesome.
Okay, so Will, along with you have two people who are celebrities in the pinball influencer, talking about whatever we are, the pinball media. We all know Imoto, and why don't you tell us why Imoto? And Lucas, by the way, Lucas is the secret star of pinball. And by the way, if you haven't heard him sing, pretty amazing. Kind of hate him for it, really. I hope he strains a vocal cord, because he's just so much better than everybody else.
How dare you? Don't wish that on him.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
No.
No, he has like vocal cords from the gods. He stole half of whatever Jeff Teolis left.
It's very kind.
You should do it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, can we have Jeff Teolis and Lucas sing "Endless Love" at the next pinball convention?
I Will, can we work that into what we discussed?
We should.
Great.
Yeah,
thank you. Only if I can be Diana Ross, though.
That's true.
I am not going to be no Lionel Richie.
No Lionel Richie. Yeah, it's true.
I have recorded Endless.
Okay, wait. That was a joke, but
Ready. He's already ready for
wow,
it.
wow.
Where's the popcorn?
I have recorded Endless Love as Steve and Moppy before. I have hidden banks of content that I've never put out in the world, and that's one of those where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I crossed the line here. Maybe I went too far.
Did you publish that?
No. I shared it with Imoto.
I was like, I remember it.
Yeah.
No. See, Imoto got so much extra content that no one ever got because I was like,
commanded it.
this is too weird and too far and too stupid. No, I will. Thank God I'm doing this anonymously, because what are people going to think of this person? What are they going to think?
Now it's time for them to start thinking.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on stage, baby.
Okay, so yes, Will, introduce why we have Lucas and Imoto on.
Yes. So Imoto and Lucas are going to be our co-hosts for the 2023 TWIPYs. So they'll be at TPF in March, and I think you can obviously see why we went with Lucas and how we expect to have a lot of singing. So it's musical TWIPYs.
It is a full musical. Let's
Full
not
musical.
get this wrong, people. This is a musical.
Okay.
I blame this all on
musicals are 2.5 hours long. Is that how long the TWIPYs are?
We're going 4 hours. We're going
Okay.
big.
Yes.
We know that everyone wants to be in that room with no deodorant and farting and smelling like cheese for 4 hours, and that is your night at Texas Pinball
It's
Festival.
not that bad.
I know, I'm joking. It's going to be like, for real. It's going to be a ton of fun. There might be some music. Look, we know this audience. We know this pinball crowd. I have tested the waters with how far you can take a musical in this, so I get it. Like, it's not going to be a full musical, but we might have some fun with it.
Okay.
Will wants to announce the new sponsorship of Axe body spray.
Yeah.
They're gonna have everyone in the TWIPYs just spraying themselves.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
The TWIPYs brought to you by Axe and Fireball.
Well, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but Lucas, you talked about at one point in time, before anyone knew you were Macho except for maybe Imoto, you were trying to get into the TWIPYs and do some kind of bit for the TWIPYs. So is this why you're now co-hosting? Like, they're finally like, well, he did reveal himself, but we'll still do some Macho there. Like,
Was that a covert audition?
Do you want to do a Macho bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
So wait, what was the question again? I'll try to work in my answer.
The question
was live.
Originally, you were supposed to do Macho at a TWIPY. Like, you
Yeah.
were supposed to do it undercover, and no one know who you were at the TWIPYs. So, like, is that how you like became the co-host? Did you just, they wanted you to do this, and you're just like, I'm doing it. Like,
how about this? This will be fun. This is unscripted. Let me see if I can do a live Macho episode on that history. So it'll be about 3 minutes long. Hold on.
Hey, we got time.
So you asked, what was I planning? What was I going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
That'd
Okay.
be good.
All right, I got it. Wait.
This episode of the Macho Pinball Podcast vlog show is brought to you by the Loser Kid Pinball Podcast, all the way out there where those dinosaur bones are in Utah. Those two boys are so beautiful, and I love their content. And I gotta say, Macho Bravo on a great show, 123 episodes strong. That's a big old Macho Bravo. I didn't think you were gonna get past 4. Okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Macho Pinball!
That's right, I'm back, baby. Working out a little bit of issues on my board because it's my first time doing it, but you didn't know. That's the secret sauce. Don't tell them what you're doing. You got your hand behind your back, but it doesn't matter. Hey, I got some news for you. I'm back. Here's what was happening. I was in a heated battle with Jeff Patterson. Yeah, you remember him. He was that fool that used to run TWIP. Now, he's no good, people. And I came at him and I said, Jeff, why don't you put a real host on that stage? Why don't you man up? Why don't you get some balls and get Macho on stage, because you know that I am taking over the airwaves. I am the cream of the crop, and I'm the tip of the top, and like having your Bluebell ice ice cream shop. Bluebell homemade ice cream. Where was that? Okay, I'm back. All right, so Jeff Patterson. And I said, no. And he said, Macho, I invented COVID, and I'm going to put COVID all over the world, so we're not even going to have a live show, so you can't even come to my show. And that just deflated me so much that I stepped out of the podcasting game.
Did that answer your question?
Perfectly, like 100%.
So COVID killed Macho Pinball, right?
Jeff Patterson invented COVID, so Macho couldn't take the stage. I don't know. That was. We can cut all that. That's fine to cut.
We'll cut the Canadian
it's all staying in, every last bit of it.
You don't have to put any of that into this world. That's why I did it anonymously. Because it's not even that great of a Macho Man impression. It's just kind of what I envisioned as this guy.
You know what's hilarious though is you did this Macho Man impression, and then for some odd reason it like rippled through the community, and all of a sudden all the podcasters had to prove that they weren't macho.
Yeah.
So we were all doing macho voices on the podcast, and somehow Franchi became like macho. Like everyone was saying,
really, like seriously, him versus me, and Chris Franchi. Props to you, man. Your Macho Man impression's better than mine. Like hands down, it's a really good one. Like go find an episode and unearth it because it's really good.
It
Even
really
I got
is.
accused for being Macho Pinball several times.
I
do
totally
remember
see
that.
actually.
Like
I
using
can
a
see
voice synthesizer or something.
So
Yeah.
that whole show, I at class of 2020 pinball podcast, right? Let's rewind here to the classics of classic 2020 class of pinball podcasts. It was there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of just derision, and I don't know, like the tensions were high, and I was like, you know what? Somebody needs like a punching bag to come in where it's like I joked around as like the arbiter of pinball podcast because it was a pinball podcast about pinball podcasts, and the only reason, truthfully, that I made it was I needed to learn how to make a podcast. I was working on another project with some friends, and I was like, I don't know, but I've been listening to pinball podcasts, and they'll listen to anything. So,
which is true. Anybody who's listening to this definitely has low standards.
I'm a marketer by day, know your market. And I said, okay, I'll get some listens, I'll get some feedback, and I'll start to learn how to make a podcast. And I was like, well, maybe if I make it funny. Anyway, it all came as a dumb idea. And truthfully, like, that was a weird time for me in that point of my life. And so I was kind of vulnerable, and I was like, well, I just need to put it out there anonymously. And then
were you vulnerable because you were wearing those itty bitty tank tops that they all wear?
Yes, that's exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
He got into costume before recording every time.
I researched costumes because truthfully, Jeff and I were talking about this because it was starting to get traction really fast and be like, oh, like, hey, people are actually listening to this and having fun with the character. And I started to play around with like the mystery of it. And I threw out, like, I had a whole decoder device, y'all. I made that.
Do you remember
decoder.
that? Yep.
Yeah.
I made a decoder device, and I wanted it to be this kind of like weird journey where it's like, if there's somebody that actually wanted to get that decoder device and decode the messages, like it was going to go somewhere. I had a whole like weird arc of a show for it, but I just ran out of steam. And then, the pandemic hit, and then I was like, oh, let me make this. What's stupider than what I already made? What like this is seriously my thought process, because I don't want people to. I know what I've made, right? And there were reasons, and I think you can see like a progression in the character. Like you listen to the early things, and then you see where the character got, because it gave me an opportunity to just explore that. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to make the Puppet Pals. That's really dumb. Will pinball people listen to a musical? I don't know. It was kind of like a market research thing of like, where as a marketer can I see the segmentation of my market, and what are they interested? Like, where's that Venn diagram of weird that they will accept? And like, what can I learn? How can I iterate on the creative process and say, I want to create something. I've had all these ideas for all these years, and I used to be in theater, and I sang, at the time I was still mid-stride So there's a global Catholic television network in Birmingham, Alabama, where I live. And I sang there for 16 years. Like literally every single day of my life was going to a live televised mass and singing. And, you know, before that, I used to work in the theater. So I have this really weird mix of like, I love musicals more than I love pinball. And, you know, then I've got a whole literally like 20-year plus liturgical, like high liturgical Gregorian chant classical training to my voice. So it's really, I don't fit anywhere. And I'm trying to like reconcile through that. And I've found a lot of friendships in pinball. Like it's so crazy. Like Josh, Scott, we know each other because like we chat on Facebook, right? And Will, we chat on Facebook, and Imoto, like we chat, and like it's been such a great community, and I'm so happy to celebrate that. Like truly, like I'm gonna meet friends. I'll get emotional. Like y'all, I will cry. I've accepted that now in my 40s. That it's like if Lucas starts crying, it's gonna happen because like I'll do it with like I have a fantastic boss at work, and like sometimes I'll just be like, and it's I don't know, like it's I'm trying to just accept that's me. I might cry because I get really passionate about stuff. So
We accept you, and we're glad you're part of our community. Thanks
thank
for
you.
choosing us.
I mean, it's like literally pinball's been great, and I've played Tommy. I've done that show, and at the time when I was doing it in college, like I don't know, it's a fun show. Like it's a rock opera. It's epic, and I wish I had at the time. Well, yeah, at the time in 2000 something. I wish I would have bought a game because I probably could have bought it for like $1,000, right? Back then, but do wish I had a Tommy. I'm tangenting all over the place, so I'm sorry. What was the question? Where are we?
So I think what we've all determined is we need to somehow get Lucas to win something at the TWIPYs so we can get him to cry live on national streaming television on worldwide.
I will cry so hard in front of that audience.
Well,
Hey.
we can make it so you
I
cry
might
at the end
cry.
of the show because it's over.
And then
Okay,
he's
I-
going to cry as Macho.
Hey,
Truthfully,
Lucas, I
it
do have a
is-
question for Lucas, though. As a marketer, what were your number comparisons between Macho, Pinball, and Puppet Pals as far as viewership?
Oh, it was nowhere near close. Macho had, I don't know, maybe upwards 40, 50,000 listens in like a
Wow.
really short period of time.
Wow.
And Puppet Pals, I don't know, maybe like 400 total.
That was
You know,
all
I
me.
don't know. Zach and Dennis would have those numbers, but I don't.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's pivot back. We've went
Hey,
off the
back to
rails.
the TWIPYs.
So we got our two new awesome we got our new hosts for the TWIPYs. Is there any changes going into this next year with the TWIPYs?
Yes, yeah, there definitely is. The big change is we are not doing pre-voting this year. So in the past, we had a period where we had write-ins essentially for multiple content creator categories,
Right.
like streamer and podcaster. That is gone. So now we are only doing one voting period. It's actually going to start December 18th, so it's
Okay.
going to start earlier than the previous
Gotcha.
years. And it'll cover everything. We'll still have streamer, podcaster, YouTube channel, all those in there, but they'll all be pre-filled from our TWIPY database, or the TWIP databases that we've got, the promoters and the mods and the toppers. So
Okay.
So
Yeah.
will there also be different requirements as well with you not doing pre-voting? I know that I know this is pretty far stretch, but Colin talked about like a positivity implementation. I know something talking about that. How are you going to decide that who you're going to put in the voting bracket, I guess?
So we did talk through with the committee. We did talk through like having a good standing requirement. The committee voted that down. We're actually allowing people to, we'll have everybody that's eligible in the drop down and be available. So part of the reason for that is that we felt like it was disrespectful to our voters if we took somebody out that they wanted to vote for, that they felt they wanted to show appreciation to. So everybody's in. There are some eligibility requirements. You can go to TWIPYs.com and see what the eligibility requirements are for each category. But it's really more about how many shows or podcasts you have in that period of time from 12/1 of the previous year to 12/1 of 2023. So that's really the eligibility.
And this is one thing we were talking about Expo. There is a misconception that these shows have to all be public, right? Like, because I think if I remember correctly, it's like 7 shows in a calendar year or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
That's
5,
at least for podcast. Well, that's for the media stuff. So
yeah. So there, 5 shows within that period, and there's, that's all there is. There's no if it's behind a paywall, if it's public viewable. It's just they have to have 5 pieces of content out there for that period of time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's run down some of the categories and let's talk about the different things. So first off, we want to know about the big categories. So let's talk about what makes something eligible for a machine. Does it have to be manufactured? Does it have to be announced? Does it have to come from a company that is not getting investigated by the SEC?
Yeah, so the the game categories, it has to be shipping within that period of time. So 12/1 to 12/1. So if it's been announced and not
12/1 or 12/31?
It's 12/1 of
Okay.
2022.
So it's December to November, basically.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
December through November. Yeah, because you can say last year we started our voting, in November for the pre-vote stuff, and then on the 1st of January for the final vote. So we give that month lag so that we can prepare for the voting period. So 12/1 of 2022 to 12/1 of 2023, and it has to have shipped. So not just announcement, not just reveal, it has to have shipped.
Okay. So can you I'm not anticipating a game being announced in the next 2 weeks, but we'll leave that out there. What
but
are the games?
it brings up an interesting question,
Okay.
because I don't know if Pulp Fiction has shipped yet. I mean, they've had a couple. I mean, they've had a handful out there, but I don't know if they've officially shipped. And
I
the
don't
same
think a
with
prototype
Labyrinth.
counts. Yeah.
Yeah, and Labyrinth hasn't. I mean, they've made 10 or 12 of them, but they haven't officially started shipping them.
Yeah,
So,
there's a couple we have on our list that are we're waiting and seeing.
Pending.
Yeah, you're kind of watching them, and we'll have to reach out to the manufacturer as we get closer. So Josh Sharp is actually on the TWIPY committee, so he's kind of our ears on the Pulp Fiction side. But some of the others we are in discussion on. So
nice.
But so it's actually pretty amazing. As of right now, I think we have like 16 possible eligible games, which is the biggest we've ever seen in the 7 years we've been doing it, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And how many of them are from first-time manufacturers? I mean, that is probably an amazing thing right there.
Yeah, because we have Punny Factory from Pinball Adventures. I'm really assuming Labyrinth will be in the mix there.
Yeah.
I think it will as well.
Yeah. That's not first time, but this is Spinal Tap will be this year.
Yeah.
But that's a pinball machine for non-pinball people.
True that.
Sorry.
Hey, don't try to influence the votes, Josh.
Okay.
But I can just run through the rest.
Yeah, go ahead. Give us the list, because I'm curious to see what's on there right now.
Yeah. So Queen by Pinball Brothers, Drained by For Amusement Only Games. That's the P3 module, and actually it's full game for full artwork and animation, so that's full game. Scooby-Doo by Spooky, James Bond 007 60th Anniversary Edition, Foo Fighters by Stern, Final Resistance by Multimorphic, The Godfather by JJP. Like we talked about, Pulp Fiction is kind of still impending, but it's there. Galactic Tank Force by American Pinball. Whirlwind Total Chaos by Pedretti, and that's only in several categories like art, rules, audio, and animation, because it's not a full game. It's the remake of Whirlwind. Punny Factory, as we talked about last time. Venom by Stern. Jurassic Park 30th by Stern, and that is only in art. Dungeon Door Defender, That was a game Michael Ocean made for P3 for the Heist module. So that's in audio, animation, and rules. Labyrinth by Barrels of Fun. We do have the Alien, the Ellen Ripley versions kind of still on the edge. I don't know if that's shipping yet or not, but we'll have to talk about it. Elvira's House of Horror, the Blood Red Kiss edition. That'll be in for art. And then Elton John is the other one that is still pending, but I'm assuming it'll make it out by the 1st as well.
That is a lot of
Isn't that
pinball.
an insane list? Like the one year where we had Godzilla and you looked at the list, it was kind of like
There was
dang,
like,
Godzilla's
there was like
gonna win
3.
a lot. You know, it was
Yeah.
hard to not assume that. But now with that list, it's just like it's every award is anyone's game. I don't know.
Yeah, we talked about this the other night. We had a little team call, and it really was like that. I think we read it out to us, Will, and Imoto. You and I had the same exact reaction. It's like that's a really strong list of variety and artistry. Like it's a great year to celebrate. Like I think that's my point. There is it's not just one game that kind of came out and crushed it all at a really weird time, right? Like this past year for pinball has been gangbusters. So it's really neat to see.
I guess the other question too is I mean, how are you going to do intros then? Because I know usually, what last year it was like you kind of did all the games, and then per category you kind of just showed like a blip. Is that what you're going to do for this one? Because 16 games, that's a lot of games.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like
Long
last
intro.
last year we did do all games in the very beginning. We just showed them and then only showed the top 3 for each of the game categories. I assume that's what we're going to do again.
It's gonna be in musical format though for the intro of all the 16.
So Lucas is going to sing everything for
Oh my
it.
God. No.
I'll bring your cough drops.
I don't-
It's all good,
look,
dude.
I don't want that for my audience, okay? We're going to create something that's fun and celebrates pinball, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. Can we run by the committee, Will, to add another like voting thing saying, do you want the TWIPYs to be a musical this year? Yes or no? And if we get enough
Look,
votes, it's
I
like
have
done.
tested the market.
They want it.
Be a hard no. But
Okay, if you're listening, I know after we'll talk about numbers in a little bit or a little later, but if there is anyone that listens to the show that is like into making puppets, Lucas, if they make you a Steve and Moppy like puppet,
my
will
God.
you do a full musical intro for the TWIPYs?
Look, y'all, I know I came across manic earlier because I'm just honestly, I'm really nervous because I know this community. I know the underbelly of this community better than most. Okay. And I know that Meek, it was the fear that I already always had was who is like, I'm just me, right? Like I'm trying to do all these different things, but no, I was nervous before. And now I'm still, like seriously, like I'm so nervous, y'all. Like it's really cool, and I have to acknowledge that like it's really cool to actually spend time with you guys because I know we've talked. And so again, I'm sorry I got us off track, but like
This podcast is making it feel really real for Lucas now
Yeah,
that he's
like-
part of the
like-
TWIPYs.
yeah,
Now it's sinking in. I said yes like months ago, but all of a sudden
Sinking in,
it's
yeah.
sinking in.
Yeah,
Crap,
it's
this is
sinking in.
happening.
We're recording now.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hint, Lucas.
Voting.
The reason why you don't have to worry about it is because pinball is such an eclectic community that we really are come as you are. We don't this is not okay. I'm sorry. This isn't the cool kids club in high school. Okay. We have left the high school cafeteria long ago. We are a collection of jocks, comedians, show choir people who work singing mass every day on TV, people who sell pinball apparel and stuff.
Electrical engineers and yeah.
And we have people who keep us warm and cold, and then I just put people to sleep. So seriously, it is absolutely a collection. It's okay. I say this lovingly, but I feel a little bit like the pinball community is the island of misfit toys.
Yes. 100%.
Which is 100% awesome. It's like, it's like Inside Out with all those strange characters, and that's what makes pinball beautiful. Is because it is a uniting force of very different people who can find something that they can bond over. And so bring what you have and add to it.
Well, seriously, like let's just run it down for a split second. Like, where else would you find like the main singer of Bare Naked Ladies hanging out with a voice actor that does Star Wars Episode 1 and has
with
done
Mark.
Bob the Builder? Yeah, and then you've also got like Christopher Franchi, that's an artist that's kind of like off the deep end, and then me that does heating and air conditioning for a living, like technical work. It's a really, I think Mark Silk put it the best, is like pinball is the great equalizer for some odd reason. Like it's like, well, sneak peek, we have a special guest coming up that's been on TV and coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Where else would I be like, I message a dude and I'm like, hey, by the way, we want to talk to this guy. Do you know how to get a hold of him? He's like, yeah, here's his number. And it's like, oh, cool. Like you kind of have the
That's
same
awesome.
thing, Oda. Like you wanted to make Skill Shot Baby, and you got Rupert from Survivor helping out, and you've got Todd Tuckey that's got one of the best, most successful arcade YouTubes with like millions of views. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
where else does
Pinball
that
brings
happen?
people together for sure.
I guess that was, where I said I was kind of in a rough spot of just like not believing in myself. And so it was easier to put it out there anonymously. And I'm trying to start to believe in myself. As dumb as that sounds. But, Scott, to get back to your original question, because I have circled back and I do this often. So this is just me coming as me, just maybe a little more manic because I am nervous, but we're going to have fun. Would I let someone help me build puppets? Yeah. And I guess that's part of one of the reasons that I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about some of the other projects that I'm working on, is that like I just want to collaborate and create cool stuff with people. And you limit yourself in that creative scope when you don't tell people what you do. If you tell people what you do, you start to open those doors and those opportunities to just say, let me try. Like I may not be the best, and that's okay, but I'm going to try because I'm passionate about it. And, that's kind of my theme of 2024 that I want to go into, is just like, look, I've got a great job by day, but like, this is kind of my passion by night, and I'm rediscovering it. And music and singing and characters are fun again, and trying to not be scary. Like I've spent a lot of time in a little like 3 foot by 5 foot closet over the past year, trying to just get better and learn and be comfortable with me again, because I lost a lot of that. And so I truthfully, like, I really do appreciate anyone that listened to the stuff that I did put out there. It had moments of cringe. It had maybe moments of brilliance. I don't know. That's up to whoever listens. But like, it truly is. It's an honor to be considered amongst those creative people that I look up to.
Definitely.
I think we picked a good co-host, Will.
Oh yeah, this is brilliant.
I think so too. Well, and not
but then like anyway, you can cut all this, but it's like I'm like, what's that good? Or just am I being like way over the top and like just breathe? It's okay. These people aren't going to hurt you, Lucas.
Well, and not to shortchange Will either, because he's created Silverball Swag. Like, shout out to Silverball Swag. I don't know any other community that has awesome. a store that is collaborative with the whole community. And if you have an idea, you kick it over to him. He is the easiest person to work with. Imoto just put on her
wrong. I'm sorry.
No, and
Macho hat.
I will 1000% attest to that. So like, I don't want to keep talking about myself because again, it feels cringy. But like when I started Macho, I reached out to Will because I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have some apparel and like, so I just sent him, or I think Will, you may have even reached out to me.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah,
I think you actually you were like, hey, I'm starting this up. Do you want like your logo on something? And I was like, yeah, dude, that's freaking cool. Well, hey, I don't want to make any money off of it because I'm trying to just do this on the side. And so, I mean, it was not a ton of money. We sold some Macho merch early on, and you can still go buy it, right? Well, it's still up.
Yeah, we sold some at Expo. Even.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to put myself up against that loser kid hat, which is Very nice.
It's pretty sweet.
It's
But
legendary.
Macho's got that sweet logo.
Not to brag, we ended up bringing over 50 hats to Expo.
Oh,
And I will say,
Holy crap.
to Scott and Josh, thank you. You did offer me like a beanie at one point, and I turned it down because I
you
didn't
said,
want.
no, I'm not cool. I'm not cool. That's what you said. You're like, I'm way too cool to rep loser kids. So
No,
it's
I
fine.
didn't. I was like, if I tell them where to ship it, then they'll know who I am.
I've already stalked you.
Yeah, I know. But Will, what we donated all the Macho, and you can continue to do so. This is a way that I was like, I can't give anything really at this point in my life, but any of the proceeds from the sales of Macho swag continues to go to Project Pinball. So
Thank you.
it's not been a lot of money, but just know that anytime that you do support any kind of Macho merch, it goes straight to the kids.
Nice.
Wait, I can get pink Macho joggers.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
dope? And
Wow.
blue.
I want pink.
It's fair.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Make
so
sure you
go
get the hat
buy
with
some
it.
stuff from Will, and it'll go support Project Pinball right away.
Nice. So, Will, how are we going to be seeing a change going forward with TWIP and Kineticist? I know we keep bouncing back and forth. This is a wonderful conversation. It really doesn't bother me at all. But
Yes, I mean, so TWIP and Connect. So I think early on you're not going to see a whole lot change. I know Colin has some ideas that he is bouncing around and working on. I think his focus is probably going to be TWIP is going to be like the newsletter feature for Kineticist, and it'll have that weekly content continuing on just like it is today. And hopefully, and I'm pretty sure if you ask Colin that, the focus will still be, promoting content creators, promoting you guys, promoting those who are doing, all this amazing work to spread the hobby. So I think it's going to be great because he's going to push it to he's a marketing guru as well. So he'll definitely push it so that more and more people get to see it.
I've enjoyed his stuff, and his branding is really on point. So I've not met or talked to Colin before, but I've admired his work.
was it killing you not to tell us at Expo?
Well, we actually hadn't started talking to it about it until Expo. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. That's when the baby was made.
That's when it happened.
Mm-hmm. That's when the magic happened.
That's
when
I knew.
with his baby there.
Yeah, that's when I knew Colin was the real deal.
Yeah.
So
okay, here's a question for you. Now I'm putting you guys in the voter category. Which games are you most intrigued to see how they're received?
see how
I'm most intrigued to see like how Godfather does, just because out of all the themes that came out this year, we kind of have a lot of like campy and fun themes, and then Godfather is just this like serious mafia theme that is just so different than what we've seen before in a while.
That's a good point. And that, what do they call the super gilded, like gaudy? It's horrible and beautiful at the same time. Like it's
straight from
Gold
1975.
lion legs.
Yeah,
yeah, the gold light, like that thing is pimped. It is so in style, but like
We have best cabinet, best pinball legs category.
that's a beautiful.
We'll move
it's
up
a
to 50
beautiful
categories
gaudy.
this year.
It's looked like someone like dragged it out of the Venetian or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely seems like a play. It comes from a place that is so decorated that you don't want to put anything down because you're going to displace like the plants and the cats and the whatever, just everything around that house. It's like Martha Stewart went crazy.
Yeah, the butler has to come by and be like, "Coast us."
Okay, you know those like hippie eclectic, like I don't know. It's like a Hallmark movie where you go in and you buy all these little tchotchkes, and it's like you can barely move because there's so much stuff in the store. It's like a thrift store in Europe. That's kind of what it feels like. It's just, there's everything possible on that collector's edition.
It's amazing.
It's like, yeah, when you go to one of the nicer casinos and like you get the phone and the toilet, you know, like the toilet separated, and you have a phone still, a
And a
landline
TV.
You know
for
what?
whatever reason. And it's
Some-
like everything is over the top.
Sometimes you
Well,
have to order room service while you're sitting down.
I joke that the people at those casinos are so old that you might have to, like, you break a hip on the toilet and they're going to have to call 911 right from the toilet.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
what it's for. Totally.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm actually very curious to see how Labyrinth is received, because
Yeah.
Labyrinth is it's not fair to say it's their first experiment in pinball, because they actually have a lot of people who have worked in pinball, but this is the first
Okay.
iteration of that. And it's a theme that I'm on record saying that it doesn't connect with me. However, it looks really well executed. It doesn't look like it was halfway done. And they even got David Bowie, which is shocking to me that they were able to get that. So the fact that they were able to do kind of a thematically authentic version of the game, and from what I've heard, people who played it said, yeah, it feels very solid. It doesn't feel like a glorified homebrew. So I'm really curious to
Yeah.
see how that's going to stack up against the people who have been making machines for years.
And that game looks super cool. Like, I'm just glad that to see the Henson properties seep in, because like as a child of the 80s and like all the wonderful movie musicals that made me probably weirdly who I am, with like Little Shop of Horrors and, you know, the Muppet movies, like all of them. Follow That Bird. Have y'all watched Follow That Bird lately from Sesame Street?
Okay, lately, no. When I was 5, yes.
Okay, well, Scott, you clearly have your priorities out of sync.
Mhm.
But oh my gosh, yes, Henson Properties in pinball. I just hope that it paves the road for more of like Fraggle Rock's a lower one, but I'm hoping Mark Silk. I do look up to Mark so much, and like we've talked a lot, and he's helped me a lot. Just kind of like talk about voices. I've taken workshops with him. Super cool guy, but I hope that with his involvement too, because I feel like he's kind of spurred. I don't know. It probably didn't hurt having him have worked on properties like that to get
Yeah.
the ball rolling with licensors and stuff.
Right.
So,
And it sounds really good. When you know Mark's voice, you can listen to it. It's like, oh yeah, now I pick it out.
Mhm.
But he sounds it's a really great David Bowie impression.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
okay, here's a fun fact. Hallmark released a sorting hat ornament that you hit the button and the sorting hat talks. That's Mark Silk.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So I actually just ordered it. It's going to be delivered tomorrow.
that's awesome. With
So-
Labyrinth, though, if they get in for this year's voting, it will be extra interesting because not a whole lot of people got to play it yet,
Right.
or will be able to play it when voting starts, right? You know, Expo, Houston Arcade Expo this past weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and a few places on location where they were testing the games. But if it didn't make it into this year and they carried over to next year, then I think all the other OEMs would really have a run for their money for awards too, because they would have a full year of people playing it on location and everything like that. And it really is a spectacular game. I was very impressed the time I got to spend with it.
And we definitely know release time makes a big difference in voting, because
Sure.
you know, James Bond 007 was last year, and now it's starting to get some really good respect. So it's, you know,
Right.
it almost anything coming out that late, like that December or that November timeframe, does hurt you a
Makes
little.
it harder. Yeah.
Now,
So-
go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, a question I hear brought up a lot, or not a question, a statement, and I want you guys to weigh in on it, is that Stern wins a lot because it has more, like, it's out in the wild more. You can find it more on Operation and whatnot. I want to see where your guys' thoughts are, but I want to preface it with, I'm looking back at like previous years, and yeah, like 2022, 2021, it is a lot of Stern. Like, granted, 2021, Godzilla was a monster, like literally just destroyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you look at the 2020 results, just 2020, it was pretty much Guns N' Roses and Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is kind of I don't feel like there's a truth to it, but I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts are that Stern wins because there is a lot more readily available versus like Jersey Jack and Spooky and stuff like that.
Well,
Who wants to go first? I'll go.
I
I actually do give bonus points. I give bonus points for them to be able to make a game and to get it out in the wild on location. So
of course.
if there's a tie, then and we're going for game of the year. Now, this is not my game of the year, like which one I like the most. What I'm thinking is which one brought the biggest impact to the game. Now, I actually did vote for, I believe that year I voted for Guns N' Roses because it was such an immersive experience in pinball. I've always said that is the best connection of any license that a pinball machine has been able to do. Now, it certainly helps when you have one of the band members who wants to make sure you have everything, and so that helps. But there are questions sometimes when you have a game that's an excellent game and then a niche game out there that makes 100, then I am going to wonder about that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win every time, but it certainly can have the biggest impact. But you could argue that Wizard of Oz had the biggest impact in the last 15 years because it was a pivot point in the industry. And there's not a lot of those in the wild. Most of them are in home collections. So that's my take. Next.
I'm interested to see what the response on Venom is. I'm
Yeah.
just really interested, you know, just because it kind of in the converse way, just because it's the biggest of the big, you know, is the reception going to be good for a game? I'm just interested. I have played it. I haven't played it in a quiet setting, but I've played it. I played it at Southern Fried Games, both the Pro and the Premium. And where else did I play it? At Imoto's Arcade.
Ooh.
Yes, which is awesome. If y'all look, Imoto, you're gonna plug yourself, but
Plug
I'm gonna
your
plug
arcade.
you.
And
I'm gonna
only if
plug
it's in
you.
Macho's voice, please. I don't want to do it. I would love to. Just send me an invoice.
Wait, I'll do it this way. You ready?
Mhm.
And just cut this if it's too much, because it's for Imoto.
This episode of the Macho Pinball Podcast Vlog Show is brought to you by the beautiful, shiny, spanking new arcade down in Foley, Alabama. That's right, you said Foley, Alabama. They got pinball in Foley, Alabama. Let me tell you about the beautiful Emerald Coast, the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Beautiful scenes, beautiful everything, and now a brand new arcade, Captain Crazy's Paradise. That's right, let's go where all the kiddies go in the summertime, but not just the summertime. We could go in the wintertime too, because it's enclosed indoors, both heated and cooled. Not only that, at Captain Crazy's Pinball Paradise Extravaganza, you also have a beautiful row of both old and new pinball games. That's right, you got old stuff like the belly stuff for all you old farts, and then you got the new shiny toys. And when I was there, well, they even brought the kiddies out and supported Project Pinball. It was a beautiful event. I gotta tell you, what else they got in Captain Crazy's super cool Pinball Paradise podcast? They got a golf simulator. That's right. So when you get done with your dance revolution, or you're shooting your aliens, or you're blasting your blastoises, you can go over and you can play simulated golf. It looked like a lot of fun. I didn't have time because I was back in the back. Wait, hold on. I gotta start that track over. See, you gotta see, when I was in the back, they had a punching bag, and I said, oh, this is for all those pinball trolls. All those trolls coming out in droves to take me down. All those followers of Canada. That's right, I'm still watching you, boy. I'm still the arbiter. But listen, they had this punching. Sorry, get back on topic here. Is Macho. They have at Macho's, Imoto's, arcade paradise at Foley, beautiful Foley, Alabama. They got this punching bag in the back, and I said, Patrols, I'm taking you down, and I won that trophy. I walked out with my head held high. Not really, I lost. There's this big black guy who clobbered it, and I said, Macho, bravo on you. You destroyed it, sir. And then I left, and I went and got Taco Bell, and I went back to the bay, and it was a beautiful time in Foley, Alabama. And now, Imoto, I'll let you talk about your own arcade, okay?
Awesome. Thank you. It's a free play arcade. We got 16 16 pinball machines, 65 bids, some Japanese imported games, and then the classics. Yeah, 4 golf-based simulators, a bar in the back where we serve beer and wine, and some snackies. So come out and play.
Okay, y'all, seriously, as me, like my brother, I have a family. I am from Alabama, and my family has a history in that part of the region, like the Alabama Gulf Coast. Look, Greg Bone goes there and
Yeah,
vacations. Like
great.
Zach's
Good,
been
yeah.
down there.
Sleeper
It
town.
is a beautiful hidden gem, and this podcast, y'all can go back to the State of Alabama Tourism Bureau and now promote this because you've got some chops behind you. But all that to say, fantastic arcade, and it was much needed in that area because there were a lot of family entertainment centers and
Yeah,
water
lots of
park stuff. So like
picker
now
them.
year round in that area, there's a pocket of pinball support. And like Imoto, you can talk about it, but like I've been there, I've seen it. It's awesome, and I think it uh, it's an Imoto experience. You go and like from the moment you walk in the doors, it's got all this beautiful Japanese inspired art. I mean, it's not just it's an art experience. And I think Imoto, you and I talked about this because we have mad respect for Meow Wolf. If you haven't
Yeah,
been to
that's
Meow
what.
Wolf, any
Yeah.
Meow Wolf art installation across the country, go. The one in Las Vegas is fantastic, but like you want it to kind of be that, right?
That's
Like
my
it's a
goal.
total experience. And then tell them, I don't want to dictate this, but like I'm invoking this out of you. Tell them about your Bride of Pinbot. I think that's a fantastic
Oh,
story. It's awesome.
yeah, we do have the one and only life-size Bride of Pinball, the Bride of Pinball installation. Awesome pinball enthusiast Neil Cox made it, and it's like that mannequin that I used to take around to shows and put Stern store merch on and put at the booth. Well, he saw it and he's like, "Hey, can I take that home for a little bit?" And he brought it back, and it's like just this fully decked out Bride of Pinball. Like she lights up and everything. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's gonna be a new like historical marker.
Nice.
Wow.
Definitely just an arcade. It's yeah. There's pictures on it online, but
Uh,
beautiful.
is it on your website? Because I'm on your website.
You know, it's on our Facebook.
Okay, all right.
I have another question for you, Moto.
Yeah.
This is going to be your 5th year hosting TWIPYs.
Is it
You've had
really
Yeah.
you had Carrie
5 years?
Hardy, you've had Jack Danger twice, Todd Tuckey as co-host. Now you got Lucas. What have you learned over the last? Because I don't even think you're just the host. You do some of the slideshows and stuff too, right?
Mhm.
Like this is not just you standing up there. You put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. What have you learned from the beginning to this point?
That I've learned that I really am passionate about pinball, and that everyone in this week of pinball that has worked on the Twippies are also very passionate for for pinball. We love it so much that it's a lot of work, but everyone just pulls it all together, and it's all just out of the kindness of our hearts and passion, because it's not no one's getting paid for this. It takes up a lot of time, but we just want to celebrate pinball with everyone and celebrate people that are working really hard and creating stuff for us to enjoy and make memories around. But now that you said it's been 5 years, I wonder, like, after this year I should probably retire as a
No.
host, right?
Oh,
It was
no.
like, no,
No, you
you're
don't
not.
walk away. No, no,
I
no.
like too long, like half a decade.
No, and I say
No?
this every year, but without a moto, I don't know how this gets done. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen without her. So you can't. You're not allowed.
Okay, fair. It's so much fun though, y'all. And like literally we just spend the time like with the committee and then with Will and working with Jeff a lot too when he was around. It's That's all I can say. It's celebrating everything that's happening in pinball that year, so it's just always a feel good time from our pre-production to the voting period and creating the content and slides and marketing promotions that go out with it all the way up to being on the stage. And there's all those nerves like build up every year to that moment, but then like as soon as it happens and we're all in there together and there's 300 plus people smashed into this room for 2 hours and we all feel exactly the same way, about pinball. It's really a magical experience, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Now, for those who don't know what your full-time job is, Imoto, can you tell us?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I am Marco Specialties, Marco Pinball's director of marketing, and I've been working with them for about 5 years now, too, just near the end of 2018 to now, and forever. I love working with them. Their whole mission in life is to help keep pinball out of the landfills. So as
Mm-hmm.
long as that's a thing, I'm committed to be with them on that journey. And I do a lot of other work with Stern Pinball. They're, very close partners with Marco, and it's fun doing side things with them as well. And kind of the main part of my position as director of marketing is like 80% of our marketing budget goes to exhibiting at pinball shows all across the
Okay.
country. So
But you
really,
have a giant booth. I mean, it's
right, we have a
huge.
giant booth that we partner with Stern and the local dealers to bring as many Stern pinball machines and new ones for people to play. And my focus is, creating that display, the booth display, the environment that everyone will interact with in all weekend long, and it's great. It's fun. Like,
It's an experience. And again, I go back to like it's an Imoto experience. And when you go to one of these shows, like I finally got to see one of your booths in person with Venom. And like this,
yeah,
I don't even know who you got to build this giant Venom,
infinite.
but it is epic. It's an experience like walking into that Marco booth. And as a like previous arcade hobbyist, like it's no fun being in a hobby where you can't get parts, whether it's old cars or old anything. So it is comforting to know that we're going to have a partner as we all get old and decrepit with our pinball machines. And then Imoto, just let me call Imoto. Hey, Imoto, you got one of them transistors number 5 here on my Stern Venom LE? Oh, thank you. Yes, PayPal's still around. I can pay you that way.
Okay.
Well, the
One,
team at Marco is amazing. Everyone is just dedicated, especially like our NPI and procurements department, to find all these parts and source them if they don't exist anymore. Find ways to refabricate them or rebuild them,
Hmm.
just to keep these games running. So
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Okay.
Sorry, Lucas was talking right there, and now I'm like, he's got to do an Adam Sandler pinball machine with that voice.
Okay. But the voice he did was like, it was like Macho calling from assisted living. That's what it sounded like.
I
There
thought it
was
sounded more like him trying to be Billy Madison, like
Oh,
I don't know, yeah.
I don't know what came out. So again, feel free to snip here. I feel very bad for Josh and me in this episode, and it's probably the hell that I never wanted to face by having a real podcast.
Josh is
edit.
just gonna send it to you to edit.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Josh doesn't have to edit this one.
What are you talking about? I've only got 2 edit marks, and that's at the 4-minute and the 14-minute. And so we're gonna just
All right,
we're
well,
just gonna slide, and then you know what's funny though? It's funny. Okay, so I just did that huge interview with Larry DeMar, right?
Mhm.
And it was 2 hours long, and I just let him go. Like I just like
You
I
asked
asked
like
him a
5
question.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I really just let him go. And it's funny because
Those are
like
the best.
I turn off the mic and he's like, no one wants to hear half that crap I just said. I'm like, guarantee you are. It has to be the biggest response we've ever had to an interview. It's been insane. And people are still messaging to this. I mean, it's been not even a month.
It,
Where I get messages daily about that interview of just how people love it. It's funny because like people love all just the little bits, and so I just leave it all in because if people don't want to hear it, they can always skip it 30
tune
seconds.
out, lose listeners. No, but I'm going to get trended down on the pinball show. Zach and Dennis trending down this week.
Okay, so Will, I do want to know the timeline. So walk us through the timeline for the TWIPYs. How do we vote? When does voting start? When does voting close? How many categories are there? And when is the reward show?
Good. Yeah. Voting starts December 18th. It'll be the full voting period. So every category, both the game categories and the non-game categories, will be involved in that. And that will go through January 15th, I believe. So it'll be one full month of voting for all of those categories. And then after that, I take all that stats, I tabulate it. The committee then goes through it. We get rid of the duplicates. We get rid of all the bad stuff. And then we will have our live show. It'll be streamed live at Texas TPF again on the Saturday night. And that's when you can enjoy and hear all the winners.
Nice.
The other thing I haven't mentioned is we actually are adding three new categories. We're looking at doing favorite new pinball streamer, favorite new pinball podcast, and favorite new YouTube channel. So
Okay.
the difference in that will be,
Rookies.
if they started within that
Rookie
year.
of the year, yeah.
Nice.
Wait, 4 categories, right? Because this year was the year we were gonna add favorite pinball dog.
Yes.
No,
Who's the? Oh man, that dog.
been trying
They've
for
come down
5
between
years.
Francie's dog that loves the cheeseburgers.
Barlow,
and
yeah.
Barlow.
I thought it was
and
Pet.
then,
Favorite
Jesse,
pinball
Jake
pet.
Dance's dog.
Yeah,
I
Jesse.
was gonna say
Oh,
Jake,
yeah, I guess
Jesse.
we'll
Yes.
be inclusive with all the animals.
All
Can
the
we do
animals.
pinball cats? Because I did lose my dog this summer. He was a very good boy, but I'm down to cats, so I wouldn't want to be excluded. So we could do.
Yeah, we'll
What
be
about the
inclusive.
pinball pig?
Yeah,
The
the
one that
pinball
rubs
pig.
up
Pinball
against
pig.
it.
Love
Yeah.
the pinball
Oh my
pig.
god!
I'd
That's-
consider him a dog. It's fine.
Yeah, he feels dog-like, but yeah, my favorite pinball podcast, or not, just let me cut that. My favorite. Are we starting now to do cuts now? Let's get real. My favorite pinball content is cats on pinballs. Like all-time favorite, can't top it.
Hashtag pinball cat.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely my cats
Good one.
know when I actually have a great game, because that's when they come and hop on my game and show me their butt. That's what they do, because they want to like look at the pretty lights and try to look at things. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And I'm trying to trap up without like gently moving them across. But yeah, cats have no pinball respect. I don't get it.
Yeah, I have one. She'll just lay down at the top,
Yeah.
and then she goes.
Sliding down.
It's like a freshly
Love
waxed
me.
game. Yeah.
It's one way to clean it.
Yeah.
But that is awesome about the new categories. I know a couple of new guys that will be excited to hear that, and that's going to be great to hear those. So,
Yeah.
Is there anything else TWIPY wise that we haven't covered, or this week in pinball with Kineticist that we haven't covered?
Yeah.
I mean, that's some pretty huge news. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
exciting.
I gotta tell you, like, I know that we've talked about this in the past, but I still didn't feel legit until the time that This Week in Pinball I think it was episode 8 in their news article, like, go check out Loser Kid. And I can't remember if it's because we had Elwin on.
We had Eric was our first celebrity.
Eric
guest.
Was our first one. That was probably when they're like, fine, like, I guess we got to put them in. They're covering JJP. So, but I didn't feel legit till This Week in Pinball's like,
Wow.
you know what? Go check out Loser Kid.
I still feel amateurish, but that's okay.
And the Pinball Promoters database is such an amazing resource
Yes,
for everyone.
it is.
Help promote all of our content just by existing,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's great.
That's cool. I appreciate you guys here saying that. That's that was definitely from the beginning. Jeff's kind of focus was get out those pinball content creators, because they are, they're not in the regular news on the regular news websites, and they're definitely promoting what we love about pinball. So it's good to hear. So.
Well, before we shut this down, I'm going to ask one favor of all of you. I know we've heard Lucas all night do his macho, but I want to hear everyone else do their own macho. I want to hear the machos because this was obviously the mystery when we were all got our decoder rings out. And we were trying to figure out who macho was. So, will you do the honors and give us your best
Oh my
macho first?
goodness.
Can you tell us what to say at least, though? Give us a line of dialogue.
Ooh, let's do welcome to the TWIPYs 2023. How about that? I am your host, Macho. There, how about that?
I think we need to get Lucas to give a little.
Okay.
Right, no,
Sound
Lucas
bit.
has to be last because he's going to make us look bad.
What are we saying?
So, welcome to the 2023 TWIPYs. I am your host, Macho. There you
I
go.
didn't even watch Macho as a kid, so
You can even throw a little dialogue, like the little machoisms in there if you want, like the cream of the crop, or you know what?
Will's like, I've never even listened to this podcast. Like, let's back up here.
That too.
who is Macho? Oh my goodness, this is going to be awful.
It's gonna make for great content, though.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't even remember what you told me to say.
Freestyle it.
Oh goodness.
You got this.
Oh.
I believe in you.
There's no way.
Well, here's
Oh,
what
there we
you gotta
see.
do. You gotta. I'm gonna coach you through this. This is a one-on-one, voiceless. You
Please
gotta
do.
reach down, reach into your inner cord. You feel it? You feel that inner cord? You got it in your hand. I want you to feel it pulsating. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that mighty arm. That's right. You straighten up your shoulders. You look them square in the eye. And you get that mighty core in your hand. Let it pulse through your veins. Let it rise up through your neck. And then you gotta go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You take it from there, okay? I'm not gonna spoil it yet. You go. Now feel it. Get the core. Get the core.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Macho Pinball.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
go.
Oh my
Yes.
god, that was the
See,
best.
this is why.
I
this
need
is
that
why
as
we
my
have.
ringtone.
Okay,
This is why we
how
have
did
these-
Macho turn into Kermit the Frog?
Yes.
Wow.
You make fun,
You
Scott, but
asked
you're up
for it.
next,
Oh.
man. It's your turn.
You
Let's
asked
hear
for
this,
it.
Scott. You
It's
ready?
my turn?
It's your turn.
Oh yeah, this is Macho Pinball. We are not welcoming to the TWIPY. We are welcoming to the jungle because we got Labyrinth. We got all the games here, and yes, you are going down that rabbit hole with David Bowie, who steals the random child for no apparent reason, and Jennifer Connelly, who goes and dances with giant-sized Muppets. Who's gonna win Pinball Machine of the Year? You know what? We're bringing back the Royal Rumble. This is Macho Pinball!
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, he's got a cheer. What is
Okay.
up with that storyline, though? For real.
Okay, the waveform just like went red line the whole time.
Gotta be. My
See,
ears are blown. But it's beautiful.
look, here's the thing. We can all be macho.
Oh, we're all macho in our
We're
own
all
way.
macho deep down. You just got to find the juicy core and squeeze it.
Okay, you ready to reach down, grab that juicy core Imoto?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's hear this.
Welcome to the 2023 TWIPYs. This is Macho Pinball. We're gonna all eat so many Slim Jims in Texas Pinball Festival. Let's go.
Where did Lucas go? He's
Hi,
Hi,
there he is.
Lucas.
Lucas is
no.
like rage quit.
Lucas is like, wow,
Can't take it.
I'm out.
He's like, mic drop.
My
that
throat
was the
hurts.
best
How do
that's
you
ever
do
gonna
that?
happen.
No, my throat still
I
hurts.
literally,
Yeah.
all I heard was Slim Jim. I'm so sad. I look forward to hearing. Like
Gotta listen to
literally,
the episode.
I cut out. I'm very sorry. All I heard was Slim Jim,
Oh,
and I
that's
can't wait to hear it because it can be a little strenuous. Like you got to pace yourself with it. That's why the episodes were only 3 minutes long, folks.
Yes, definitely.
All right, Josh.
All right, I guess I got to go last. Well, not last. We're gonna make Lucas go again, right? So he can all show us up. welcome to the 2023 TWIPYs. I don't know. It's to the tip of the top of the rise, and the stern's gonna come in, and it's gonna come down on the JJB. Give him the people's elbow. That's The Rock, though. So I don't know my WWF very well. So thank you.
You still got cheers.
I got to get more
That's
into it. I can do it with my kid. Like it's just a
Yeah.
that
I
wasn't
don't
that
think you
great.
touched
I
your juicy core all the way. You got to really engage. All right.
I'm the cream of the
Lucas?
crop. We go to the top.
All right. Are we do it? People are going to be like, like we're
No, Lucas.
Okay.
You do Macho as Moppy. Moppy from Puppet Pals doing Macho.
Oh my goodness.
Imoto, there's only like one person in the world that would ever ask for that, and it's you. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
I'm asking
You're
for
welcome.
it too.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
Do you want a sponsor? Do you want another? No,
Yeah.
let's just come into it.
Let's go.
No, sorry. Wait. Cut. I gotta get my audio bank.
We're not cutting
I
this.
just like literally integrated this tonight. I'm like, why? Where was this 3 years ago? Okay. Damn it. Hold on.
Now we have to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Macho Pinball!
That's right. I'm back. And here we are today. It's the TWIPYs. It's the 2023 TWIPYs. I'm really excited. It's kind of hard to go back and forth between the announcer and Macho and Moppy because I haven't really practiced doing Moppy like that. And I mean, a little bit, my voice is a little bit tired because I've been singing a lot. But that would be like if Moppy did it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
It's not as high as I would want him, but my voice is. I have been talking all day, so
I see that.
Bravo.
Oh my goodness.
hate
Okay,
it.
we're gonna wrap this
Thanks,
up.
Cheryl.
I do appreciate you guys coming on. Will, thanks for hitting us up to talk about these changes for TWIPYs and the changes for TWIP. Also, Imoto, it's always I've been meaning to get you on. I've been meaning to get Luce on. This is perfect. I was so
Yeah.
excited when Will hit us up and was like, Imoto's coming on and a guest host, and I was like, whoa.
Ooh.
And then when he told me today it was Lucas, I hurry and it's like, dude, you're coming on. And he's like, yeah, I think I'll be there.
Whatever. No, I did not say that.
He's like, well, what's gonna be in my dressing room? Because I have a very specific
M&Ms, but you have to take out all the brown and yellow ones.
Yeah.
Yes, and they got to be presented in a football
Mhm.
helmet.
Mhm.
Yes, you know. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but I used to book concerts,
Mhm.
and when you book a band, they have what's called a rider,
Mhm.
and that rider is pretty much a list of demands.
Mhm.
And the funny part is, I didn't know this till I booked a couple of bands, but some of them forget what's on the list. But it's stuff like a 12-pack of men's crew socks. Because I joked with them like, I couldn't find you guys socks, and they're like, what? They all took off their shoes. None of them were wearing socks. And they were like, we were depending on those socks. And then they messed with me. They're like, no, we never wear socks. So it's just part of, we were like, what can we get into our rider that we could make these people do that just be ridiculous? One of them was all green M&Ms in a football helmet. So
Okay, actually, there is a very practical reason for those riders.
Yes.
Because if you show up and if you ask for something very weird, like green M&Ms in a football helmet, and you see that, they read the rider.
Yep.
yes.
But if you go in and you don't see whatever weird, so that's one reason why bands do put those really strange requests in there, is so they can know if the venue's ready for them.
Well, not only that, but it is also, so like some of these bands that don't make a ton as openers or like the lower spot on the lineup.
That's their dinner.
Well, not only that, but like, because they were telling me you can actually scratch that off. So you don't want to do the green M&Ms with the helmet. You can scratch that off and then offer them a cash payout essentially on that item. So you can go through the whole rider and scratch it out and say, I'll give you $300 to not make me do this list. And so, anywho, there's some making the sausage behind the scenes for when you're booking concerts and stuff like that.
I love that. That's fantastic. I've never thought about that, and I just do like the inside scoop on little entertainment things like that.
I wanted to talk about just two things, Loser Kid, before we leave. Maybe it's just one thing, I can't remember. Oh yes, two things. So the first thing, the Jersey Jack giveaway for the Elton John, that is not this episode. We will do it next episode, just because we recorded with Jack and released it on Friday, and today is Monday. And so we've had a massive response. We've already had about 30 entries.
Yeah.
And so I just want to give a little bit more time to that. So let's give it another week or two. Second thing is, I did post this on Facebook, but we really haven't talked about it on the show yet. I don't know how I wasn't taking in all the marketing numbers, and it's great we have a marketing person on with us, Lucas. Our numbers more than doubled since I figured out that between SoundCloud and Apple and Spotify, and thanks to Neil McRae for pointing out, he's like, are you sure they're not just like the same numbers through another website? No, these numbers are entirely different. Like our top 10s are different. Like I have a hard time believing that they're the same. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just reporting double. And we have a new king in our guest realm that we've got around. And Keith Owen is passing on the crown, but he's going to have to make it into 3 because Triple Drain, Joel Engelberth, Travis Murray, and Tom Graff are now our kings over our guests with over 7,500 listens from their episode.
Okay, you know that's Joel just listening nonstop.
It is.
That's amazing, though. That's really
yeah,
good.
it's pretty amazing. So, and we're really excited. I mean, we've had over 500,000 listens in the 5 years we've been doing this. So it is absolutely insane.
We lost Lucas.
Lucas is like that.
Okay, Lucas is phasing in and out. Will you stop touching what is it, the time diverter thing, the multiverse? Yeah.
But I just want to give a big thank you to those that listen to us. I know obviously
this is constipated Lucas, apparently.
Obviously there's some people that listen to us, and I want to thank. This is so hard to take this seriously here. But I want to thank everyone for reaching out, for listening to us. I'm sorry if you're not watching the YouTube. Come join us for the last.
His face.
Was this probably gonna be the last 5 minutes? Just, I think we've all learned that we're grateful that Imoto is going to be in charge.
Yes. We're glad that.
Well, I can't do it without.
You're like Duke, because Bo never let him drive. Did you ever notice that? It was always Bo. See? So it's Imoto, and you guys are from the South, so you know what I'm talking about with the Dukes of Hazzard. Just some good old boys. Never meaning no harm. Yeah.
I always joked, if we did do a Patreon, our top tier level would have to be like $1,000. But if you actually paid for it, we would fly you to Salt Lake and do like a weekend with the Loser Kids and like do pinball and the museum. And we have so many art installations, and there is so much culture that is in Utah. It's ridiculous. But yeah, if you want to pay us $1,000, we'll fly you to Salt Lake. If you're in the States, if you live outside the States, we'll work something out. Lucas is signing up as we speak. He's like, and Sam. All right, I'm shutting this down. This has actually been wonderful. I'm not gonna lie. This has been great. So, if people want to get a hold of you, Imoto, where do they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, either Marco Pinball's Facebook or Imoto Arcade. That's where I just drop my everything else pinball content. Or stop by my arcade in Foley, Alabama, Captain Crazy's Paradise.
And Will, if they want to get a hold of you and the new shenanigans with This Week in Pinball.
Sure. Yeah, you can get me at will@thisweekinpinball.com. And I'll still be there, and I'll still be helping out as much as I can.
Awesome. And if you want to get a hold of us, we are loserkidpinballpodcast@gmail.com. On the socials, we are at Loser Kid Pinball. That is X, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. We're all at. If you type in @LoserKidPinball, you're gonna find us. So I think that does it for us, Scott. I guess we'll be jamming out another 2 weeks.
That's it. Yeah, and definitely go visit Kineticist and go visit This Week in Pinball and get ready to vote for that month of voting. We'll try to remind everybody when it comes closer.
Also remind those Canadians the real Thanksgiving is happening next week, and we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.